Greetings, guys, gals, and non-binary pals, and welcome back to another episode of the SavvyCat Podcast. I'm Savvy.
And I'm Kat. Did you hear my teeth click? You smacked me in the face, my teeth went, hut.
Good. And together, we are SavvyCat.
Yes.
Because
we were creative 12-year-olds. There we go.
And we made a film company for a school project.
Printed out little cards and
Business
everything.
cards and everything. We should find
photo.
those and then make the merch. Business cards as merch. I think that's a good idea.
Find that Google image that we ripped off with the Savvy on the tail.
Yeah. I
Stunning.
think that that's good. I think we won't run into any issues with that.
No, not at all. Today we're talking about something kind of serious and kind of something we've been avoiding.
I like that we're starting off with like it's something serious, as though all our podcasts aren't kind of something serious.
No, they're all quite serious. We talk about very serious. I'm just realizing how much like really serious stuff we talk about.
Yeah. But like, bet we're gonna go completely off topic and end up making this positive.
Oh, most definitely.
That's my bet for this.
Yeah.
Basically, we're from New Zealand, if you weren't aware. And as you know, at the moment, we're having a bit of a global pandemic.
A little bit, just tiny
where
bit.
we can't leave our houses or anything. But because we live in London,
Yeah.
where it's bad. But
we
back home,
We're from New Zealand.
and all our friends and family are free. There is no coronavirus in New Zealand,
There
so
is
they are
one
living their
case.
lives. Yeah.
Currently.
They are living their lives as normal. Concerts, music festivals, movie theaters, parties, everything. They're just living their lives. The only thing they can't do is like travel overseas.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people have asked why we don't go home.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people making memes about New Zealand and everyone saying they want to be in New Zealand, and a lot of talk about New Zealand constantly, and a lot of people think that we're very stupid for not being there.
Yeah.
And we wanted to talk about today why.
Why? And also just, I don't know. It's that thing of everybody's going like, oh, I want to be in New Zealand. I want to go to New Zealand. Why don't we just move to New Zealand? Why don't you go home to New Zealand? You're so lucky you can go home to New Zealand. And it's this thing of like, New Zealand is not a paradise.
Bro,
It is not the stunning paradise that people think it is. And it's quite insulting and quite insensitive to say that it is.
Yeah.
Because New Zealand has a lot of problems.
So many.
So many problems and so many crucial things that it needs to fix. And nobody addresses those problems because everybody likes to keep up the image. Even New Zealanders like to keep up the image that New Zealand is this great, beautiful paradise. And don't get me wrong, New Zealand is beautiful. I fucking love my home. I love my home so much. But it is not perfect, and it is not the best place to be. And honestly, for me personally, it is not the best place to be right now.
Yeah.
At all.
No.
Yeah.
It's that thing of like, people at home think that coming home will magically fix everything, but it's like we left for a reason, firstly. Yeah. So it's like, I'm depressed.
Yeah.
We're depressed here at the moment. It's hard, right?
Yeah.
There is depression and shit. Like, our mental health is not amazing. And so family is like, well, why don't you come home? And I'm like, I was depressed at home too.
Yeah.
Why would that be different?
Yeah.
I was like in a really bad way when I was at home. And I don't know why people expect if I go home for me to be happy. Like, what? If anything, that doesn't make any sense.
No. It's also this thing of like, we left home for a reason.
Yeah.
And here, being here, it's shit. And it's hard and it's painful. However, everybody here is also going through the exact same thing.
Yeah.
There is a sense of
Validity.
and understanding. And I've put it this way, we're all going through right now a shared trauma. This is difficult, and we've all adapted kind of in similar ways. We've all are coping right now. If we went home right now with all this trauma already happened, no one's going to understand. No one's going to validate that. No one's going to understand. They can't. They haven't had the same experiences as us.
And they think that they have.
And they keep saying that they have, but they have not. Every single time I talk about this with anyone at home, it's like, oh, yes, we understand. We get it. We had
lockdown for 6 weeks. It was really hard.
Yeah. Things are really hard at the moment. We had one case and everybody was really scared.
It's like, we're not trying to invalidate New Zealand. Like, obviously it's difficult for everyone at the moment.
Yes.
But the way that they're comparing it to what we're going through is very frustrating and invalidating.
And
because,
insensitive.
Yeah, because we can't even fucking, like, leave or go anywhere or do anything. And then they're like, oh, I had to wear a mask on the bus and it's so annoying. I was talking about, like, how... one of the things that, like, would be really annoying about going home is having to wear a mask for 36 hours straight because you're on the plane and shit. And they're like, oh, I had to wear a mask for a couple hours. It's fine. You get used to it. I'm like, we have to wear masks every time we step outside.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. It's that thing of, like, at least here, people get it.
Yeah.
People understand.
And, like, people talking about, like, it's interesting because other people going to New Zealand, like, hypothetically, if someone went to New Zealand and didn't know anyone there, I feel like they'd have a very different experience. We go home and we'd be surrounded by people that we already know, and they would treat us like everything is normal.
Yeah.
Everything is not normal.
No.
We have changed so much. Everything in our lives has changed so much. And including, like, even without the shared trauma of this, but with that and going home and having the people at home and having home be the same as it was when we left.
That's scary. It's
terrifying.
Yeah, I have a very complicated relationship with New Zealand.
Yeah.
Especially for how long I've been away from it. And the thought of going back home and everything being exactly the same, because I know it will be, brings in, like, a genuine fear in me. Because then I feel like I will revert back to the person that I was when I left. And I don't like that person.
Yeah, no, same.
At all.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's difficult. And it is difficult when people keep bringing up the question of, like, why don't you go home? Just go home. It's so easy. First of all, it isn't easy to get into New Zealand. It's almost impossible. You have to be so rich.
Yeah, it costs...
And
it's very expensive. You have to pay... Unless you go back for 3 months, which you don't really want to do.
No.
It's like... £2,000 in £2,000 mandatory quarantine, which is 2 weeks in a hotel. You cannot leave. And then also you have to book it 3 months in advance. And also it's almost impossible to book 3 months in advance because all tickets are gone.
Yeah.
And you have to, not only that, I think you have to, like, quarantine before you leave the UK as well. So it's like 4 weeks without being able to leave a building.
Yeah.
And people are like, but it's fine. It's like, you fucking do it then.
Yeah.
Why don't you come visit us then?
Yeah. Yeah.
What, if it's so easy, you come here.
Yeah. And then go back. Apparently it's fucking easy. Yeah. It is difficult because it has cut off the way it has cut me off from my family. I don't want to talk about them or talk to them. And it's difficult.
Because there's nothing to talk about either, right? Because we can't do anything or go anywhere. Every day is the same.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what to talk about. Like, what are you up to? The same as I've been up to every day for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
Like, nothing changes. Yeah. I consume Stray Kids content and I work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's my life.
And it's also going back to, even without the pandemic, people always say, like, oh, you left New Zealand? Why? I want to live in New Zealand. And people don't understand the problems.
People don't talk about it. Ever.
And I understand that there are much worse places on the planet. And every single time we bring up the problems in New Zealand, it's always, but it's not as bad as here. But this happens in my country. I understand, and I'm not trying to invalidate that. And I understand it must be hard. However, please don't invalidate my experiences in my own country. Because I know what I'm talking about. the mental health issues and the welfare and
abuse.
Basically,
this one annoys me a lot. New Zealand has, in the, what's the word? Like, in the Western world, New Zealand has the highest youth suicide rate by a lot. It is 5 times higher than the UK and 3 times higher than the US. And every time I mention that to anyone, like, we're talking about mental health stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I'm in New Zealand. It's, like, I'm talking to a British person. I'm like, it's 5 times worse. Youth suicide, 5 times higher than in the UK. And the response is always, yeah, it's really bad here too. I just said it was the youth suicide rate is 5 times higher. And your response is, no, it's really bad everywhere. Why can't you just say, wow, that's awful?
Yeah.
This isn't a competition. It's not as bad here.
No.
People just love to idealize New Zealand, and every time you tell them a bad thing about New Zealand, they don't want to hear it because they want to continue idealizing it. And it is so frustrating and invalidating. It goes, why did you leave? Well, here are a bunch of bad reasons. They're like, oh, yeah, we have that too. You don't. That's the point. New Zealand, highest youth suicide rate in the world. And everyone's like, mental health stuff is bad everywhere. Highest homelessness rate in the world, in Western world, which is 1% of our population is homeless. 1%. Second to us is Germany, which is 0.5%. That is half the amount. And people are like, lots of people are homeless here.
Yeah, I know.
The abuse rate, domestic violence in New Zealand is so much worse than in other places, in other Western countries. No one listens. No one validates it. I remember when the murder of Grace Mullaney that happened a couple years back now. All the New Zealand articles were like, I don't know how the rest of the world reported on it. It was a big thing at home because she was a foreigner.
Yeah.
Shit like that happens to New Zealanders all the time. But because she was a foreigner, it made it to international news. And New Zealand media was like, New Zealand is showing its true colors.
Yeah.
Everyone's talking about this like it's a big thing. And like, oh my God, someone got murdered in New Zealand. That never happens. And the New Zealand media was like, this is New Zealand. This is what New Zealand is. This is what we always have been. But we've kept it to ourselves. And now it's happened to a foreigner and the rest of the world knows.
And then everybody forgot about it.
And everyone forgot about it. The abuse of women in New Zealand is atrocious. 1 in 3 women will be in abusive relationships in their life. Every person I know, every woman I know who has been in a relationship in New Zealand has been abused in one way or another. Almost every single one. Myself included. No one does shit about it. No one cares. No. Children as well, not just women, children are abused terribly. There is so much family violence. It's awful. And kids are taken out of dangerous households and put right back into them. So many kids die.
Yeah.
They get killed by their families because the government sifts child youth protective services, take them out, and then just put them back in because they don't have anywhere else to take them. Adopting children is so hard. You foster kids and they get taken back and put right back into the abusive household. Yeah. I think only 8 children are adopted every year, despite 100 being fostered.
Yeah.
And shit doesn't happen. I have had a family member be rescued by my mom, beaten like half to fucking death, having to go to hospital. Nothing. No one did anything. Not police, they don't care.
No.
For police to investigate, you need to have physical damage on your body, like broken bones. Unless you have a broken bone, police will not investigate a case of domestic abuse. No. And even then, police are often abusive.
Yeah. It's the thing of like, we say this and we ask for help, and then the only response we get is like, oh, that happens everywhere. It doesn't.
Not to the degree.
Not in the Western world, and not to the degree that it does in New Zealand. I really wish we could talk about this And people get defensive over it, and I don't know why. It's like we're crushing the dream of this beautiful...
People get so upset because they want to have somewhere... and you talk about this and their response is, well, not everywhere is perfect.
Exactly! Then stop saying that New Zealand is perfect. And also, we don't want... we don't want people coming to New Zealand. Because... so many people have come to New Zealand and bought out houses and then just left.
Yeah.
And just so they can have property in New Zealand. Which means we have nowhere to live anymore.
Yeah.
Buying a house in New Zealand
is
impossible.
Yeah. Especially in Auckland.
It is impossible. Our generation will not have homes.
No.
In our home country.
And we're not saying we don't want people to move to New Zealand.
No,
it's more that people buy houses and leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
They buy houses.
Please, yeah, I don't want to say don't go to New Zealand. I'm just saying people come to New Zealand, buy houses, then raise the rent and then leave.
Well, it's more, I guess, no. Coming to New Zealand, refugees and people who need to leave,
absolutely.
Yes.
Please.
People who just want to move to New Zealand, please don't.
Yeah.
That's more what we need.
Yeah.
And Jacinda Ardern wanted to do something with that. Let in more refugees and stop other people coming in. If you don't need to go to New Zealand, don't.
Yeah.
Because 1% of the population is homeless.
Yeah.
There is nowhere for us to live.
Yeah.
The population of New Zealand has increased at such a high rate that there are not enough houses.
Yeah.
There is not enough space.
Yeah.
And the pricing in the housing market has gone up exponentially to the point where, like, my family home has increased in price by almost 10 times since my mum bought it.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah. If you do not need to go to New Zealand, like if you're not a refugee or seeking solace, please go if you need solace and you need a place to escape to. But if you just want to because you think it is a paradise, it is not. And you moving there because you think it is this pristine, perfect place is actually making it worse. And we just want to make you aware of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we can't live at home anymore. And that's hard.
It's... yeah. The... nightmare. But yeah, it's like gotten to the point where seeing all the posts about people wanting to be in New Zealand and stuff, we understand why they're being made. Yeah. Because right now, yes, the government in New Zealand is better than like here. They're handling this very well. And there's freedom and people want that freedom. Yeah. People just want a life. So everyone's talking about going there. They don't know. And we understand. But it is very hard to see because it's very invalidating of our experience. And it almost makes me feel selfish because I feel like I have this thing that everyone wants and I'm not taking advantage of it. And it's painful and I feel like a bad person. And I know that's no one else's fault. I know that this is a very unique problem. Yeah. And it's a very, it's a very unique problem. And not many people can relate to it. And I don't expect anyone else to relate to it. I don't expect anyone to stop talking about New Zealand. I understand completely, but it is hard.
It is hard.
And it is weighing on our mental health heavily. Because we can't escape people idealizing New Zealand, which is difficult to look at.
Yeah.
Hello?
Why is there someone outside our... never mind. We just wanted to talk about this because we needed to express ourselves in that way. Because it's not something that you can make like a tweet about because so many things can be taken out of context and this is like a full conversation. Yeah. That needs to be explained. And we need to say it. So this is the way we're doing it. Yeah. We don't expect anyone to like stop tweeting about New Zealand or anything like that. We just want to make people aware that it is not a paradise. And it's not everything perfect. It's a place which has humans in it. And humans can be shit everywhere around the world. There is racism and sexism and homophobia in New Zealand, just like everywhere else.
Yeah. And, yeah, yeah. And obviously there are things we miss about home.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously it's not all bad.
Of course.
This is the conflict, right?
Yeah.
Is that there's part of us that would love to go home.
And it's our home. It's still our home.
I'd love to see my sister and my dog.
Yeah.
I miss my friends and family.
Yeah.
I miss specific things. We talk all the time about things that we miss.
Yeah.
So we don't dislike New Zealand.
No, of course.
We don't hate New Zealand.
No.
There are just problems and reasons we are not there.
Yeah.
And it's just hard to see people thinking that it's amazing.
Yeah.
My favorite one, on a completely just lighter note, is the weather.
Bro!
So, basically, people seem to think that because New Zealand is an island in the Pacific, that the weather is really good.
People are like, oh, you must get sun all the time. It's a tropical... No, it's not. We're closer to Antarctica than anywhere else on the planet.
Yeah. The wind is so cold. The ocean is freezing.
My hometown is nicknamed Windy Wellington. Our rugby team is called the Hurricanes. Mm-hmm. Wellington is...
When roofs get ripped off of buildings.
I have walked down a road coming home from school, because school was still on. I was coming home from school, and I saw a window be ripped off and flown past my head. What? Kiwi, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm from... New Zealand gets twice as much rain as the UK.
Yeah.
It rains on less days, but when it rains, it fucking rains. I have not seen rain here like I have in New Zealand. It does not rain here.
It spits.
It, like, drizzles.
Yeah.
Everyone who lives in the UK and you complain about rain...
Weak.
You're lying to yourself.
Yeah. This is not rain.
I've not seen rain since moving here.
No.
I have been here over a year and I have yet to see rain.
It, like, drizzles or spits, this is not rain.
No.
I would not classify this as rain.
No, back in... hold on. Is it at...
It's
okay,
close.
we've got 7 minutes.
Yeah.
I just cut this bit out. It's fine. I live in Auckland, which I didn't realize until recently. Rains more than anywhere else in New Zealand.
Yes, it does.
Now, New Zealand weather. People always talk about, like, London weather being, like, changing all the time. No. New Zealand, Auckland, will go from sunny to the skies open in about 5 seconds. Yeah. You never know what the weather is going to be. You wake up in the morning, you have no idea. It will be sunny when you leave the house in the morning, but by the middle of the day, it will rain so much that it floods.
Yeah.
And that happens constantly. Summer, winter, spring, or any time of year, whenever, the skies will open, sometimes up to 4 times in a day. It'll rain for hours or like 10 minutes. It can rain heavily for 10 minutes and then be sunny again.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And it's funny when I tell people this. Schools flood. All the time.
We once had school when a tornado was like a street away, and we were like, haha, there's a tornado there, lol.
It fucking rains, and like there's drains everywhere. And they'll overflow.
Yeah.
And then you end up with the school flooded. And people are like, surely you go home. No, you don't go home. You just carry on your day at school while it's flooded.
Yeah, you get wet shoes.
Wet shoes, drenched, you have to run between, because classes are all separated. School's usually outside.
They're usually like one, like kind of like houses almost. Yeah. Like they're like little, like 1-story buildings.
Yeah, separated. And so you have to like run in the rain to your next class kind of thing, because you always forget your umbrellas. Yeah. It's not warm.
No.
All year, between 10 and 20 degrees. That's like summer, 25 degrees, like max. If it gets above 25 degrees, it's hot. And because of the hole in the ozone layer, the sun, like you can feel it burning your skin. We talked about this last time. You get burnt within 15 minutes.
Oh, yeah. To put it in perspective, I am mostly from Wellington, which is, there's like 2 islands In New Zealand, there's a North Island and a South Island. Wellington is like the bottom of the North Island. It's pretty much the exact center of New Zealand.
Which is why it's the capital.
We have crossings with penguins. Like, that is the kind of climate that we're talking about here. Like, on the street that my house was on, just down the road, there was, like, a penguin crossing where cars had to be super aware because penguins would just...
Yeah, you go to the South Island, there's so many penguins. And seals?
Yeah, seals. Penguins would just stop in the middle of the road. Like, they would not... Just that one area, like an actual pedestrian crossing. They would walk down the street like they were fucking people and cross the road at that section.
Good.
Yeah. And that's what... You go down to the South Island, it's pretty much... Yeah, whales. Dolphins. Penguins. Seals. We had an orca whale stuck in our harbour. That's the kind of climate we're talking... It's not tropical.
No.
It is not tropical. Like, even... Close.
Summer rains... One summer, I met someone who came to New Zealand for summer because they wanted to go to beaches and shit, and it was like the wettest summer we've had.
No.
But then this last summer, it was a drought. It didn't rain for like 2 months. That's never, ever happened. Ever.
No. We have had droughts before.
It was like 45 days without rain.
Yeah, no.
In Auckland.
In Wellington. In Wellington, there have been, like, several years where, like, it's that whole thing, like, the advertisements on TV would be like, don't use the bathroom.
Yeah, I know they happen in Wellington sometimes.
All the time.
Yeah, they don't happen in Auckland.
No. Auckland is very rare. But yeah, most of the time, it's just not the best. And everybody's so surprised about that.
Everyone thinks that it's so sunny.
But again,
if you complain about the weather in England, you would hate the weather in New Zealand.
Oh yeah, you would hate it.
If you complain about the rain here, don't go to New Zealand.
No. It's it's like raining. When we say raining, we mean like raining that hurts.
Yeah. Like you can't hear anything.
No.
Like it'll rain for 5 minutes and the streets are flooded.
Yeah.
Kind of rain.
Yeah, like you step outside and it feels like you're being...
If you're outside for longer than 5 minutes, you will be drenched.
And bruised. Yeah. That is the type of... When we say rain, we mean that. That is normal rain.
Yeah.
This is drizzling.
People would say, oh, it's raining. I'm like...
Where?
Hello?
If I can go outside without an umbrella, that is not rain. At all. I refuse to call that rain.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of weather that's in New Zealand.
I'm glad that we spent 10 minutes talking about rain.
Oh, it's important. No, it's important. People need to realize.
People do. I spent so long being told to prepare to come to England for rainy weather. Cold, dark, rainy weather. I am yet to see it.
Yeah.
It's cold, but...
Everybody talks about, like, oh, you know, London's so grey and drowsy and, you know, everything's rainy and... No?
I don't know what
you're
talking about. I've been lied to. I, like, arrived after, like, 3 months of being here. I'm like, I've been lied to my entire life.
Yeah.
Everyone's lied to me my entire life.
Yeah. All the TV shows and shit, lies.
All of it.
Lies. Absolute lies.
You all just want something to complain about. You all just want something to complain about, so you choose the rain. Find something else, like your shit government.
Yeah. You have plenty of things to complain about.
So many? Yeah. No, it's...
Yeah, and that's what I don't get. How come other people are allowed to complain about their countries, but the second we complain about New Zealand, it's not enough. I just want to complain. And also, we are not Australia. We are not Australia. Stop saying that we're Australia. I'm sick and tired. That one tweet, I'm still upset about it.
Someone called me Australian.
They were like, who's your favourite Australian YouTubers? And they're like, the Queer Kiwi. No! It's in your fucking name.
People ask me all the time, why did you choose the name the Queer Kiwi? To clear that up, it's because I am queer and a Kiwi.
Yeah. And also...
Very simple.
Kiwi and kiwi fruit.
Two different things.
Two very different things. Don't say you're eating a kiwi.
If you say you're eating a kiwi, I'm going to be concerned.
I'm going to be, like genuinely very concerned. Please don't eat kiwis. They're endangered. Please don't eat kiwis.
Where are you even getting them?
Yeah.
They're hard to find in New Zealand.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is that kiwis came from Australia.
I know. Kiwi fruit aren't even kiwi.
They're Chinese gooseberries.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Kiwi fruits are just less good feijoas.
No, you're right, and you should say it. You are right, and you should say it. I will say golden kiwi fruit, superior. I want to try the pink one. Bro!
I want a pink kiwi fruit. What did they call them? You know what I want to try? The mango grapes.
I can't believe I lived in a country with mango grapes. And I never realized because they were just green grapes.
But they taste like mango. I'm disappointed. We have to go back to Japan.
Yeah, we do.
I want to be there right now.
No, out of all places in the world that I want to be right now, Tokyo. I want to be in Tokyo.
I loved Tokyo. I was only there for 2 weeks, but I loved it.
2 years of my life. I love that city. I love that city. I miss it.
You were getting stir crazy by the end, though. You wanted to leave.
Yeah. That was not about Tokyo. That was about
you having issues.
Me. Yeah. That was just me. But no, I do miss it. Very, very dearly. And again, I would never say that Japan is a perfect country.
Japan also has terrible suicide rates. That is the worst in the Western world. For New Zealand's the worst for youth suicide.
Yeah.
Japan is worse for suicide in general.
Yeah.
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 Mainly for like older men, right? Like very bad.
No, that culture towards specifically like just capitalism in general is quite bad and
they've had to, sorry, I just remembered a thing. This is about New Zealand again.
Oh yeah.
I just remembered the bridge, Grafton Bridge near Auckland Uni. They had to put up massive walls around it because of how many students jumped off the bridge. Yeah. I was just thinking about capitalism and how like a bunch of med and law students just went and jumped off the bridge by uni to the point, which is also right next to the hospital. Yeah. Like our uni and hospital are like 5-minute walk, and the bridge goes between uni and the hospital. And the amount of students that went and jumped off the bridge onto the motorway, they had to build massive walls that curve all the way up over the bridge so that students would stop jumping.
Yeah. It's the mental health in New Zealand that's the reason I left.
Yeah. I was very lucky to be able to get the help that I did. Because we have facilities that are like, they treat young people.
Yeah.
That are free. But they're so limited.
Yeah.
And like, I got to cut the waiting list because like eating disorders are like lethal, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to like eating disorders, you tend to jump because they're like, oh, you will take up hospital space and we don't want that.
Yeah.
So I was lucky in that. And then the other good thing is because we have such a high... No, it's not even for abuse. The trauma therapy that I got is only for sexual abuse. Not for... I mean, a lot of the time, sexual abuse comes with physical abuse and stuff. But it comes under ACC, which is like breaking a bone and like needing surgery and things like that. That's subsidized by the government. Yeah. And you can get that for sexual abuse stuff, which is really cool. I'm really glad that we have that. No, but that's the only thing you can get it for.
Yeah.
And it's just interesting. I just think that. But it's also only if it happened to you when you were under 18.
Yeah.
It's only for youth. But once you're over 18, if it happened to you as a kid, you can use it anytime you like.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very, very limited. And also the culture around it, particularly obviously most of the people who are committing suicide are like young men. Because particularly like Māori, Pacific Island men, because the toxic masculinity culture in New Zealand is awful. And it also goes hand in hand with drinking culture and drunk driving.
Drunk driving, I don't think people understand how bad drinking and driving
There's
is.
no public transport in New Zealand. And a lot of New Zealand is rural.
Yes.
There are very few cities.
Yes.
And like our biggest city is Auckland, 1.5 million. And then it goes to Christchurch or Wellington, 500,000. Then 300,000. And then everything else is under 150,000.
Yeah.
We don't have cities.
No, we don't.
Most of it is rural. People drive to house parties, get fucked, and then drive home because there's no other way to get home. There's no Ubers.
No.
Nothing.
No.
All they have is their car. That is the only way they can get places.
Yeah.
And you don't ask to crash at a friend's house. That's weak, right?
Yeah.
It's fine. I'll just drive. A lot of our roads are on cliff sides.
Yeah. No.
With no fences.
No.
New Zealand roads, foreigners will go to New Zealand and literally like complain and like be like, why the fuck are you allowed to drive there?
Yeah.
Cliffside roads that are narrow.
I learnt to drive on cliff faces.
100 kilometers an hour speed limit.
Yeah.
Windy roads on the edge of a cliff with no fences. That is New Zealand roads.
And
and they're not always paved.
No,
either.
no.
Loose gravel.
Yeah, loose gravel.
Yeah.
On cliff faces and windy, so it's you can't see anything.
And we also have very aggressive drivers, so people like...
People go fast.
And they also... I am a person who goes fast.
No, I have a lot of... I have been in 3, 4 car crashes.
Oh, see, I've never been in one.
Yeah.
Like, that makes sense as to why you're so careful.
Probably 3, I think. And I am petrified of going fast. Other people driving fast, I'm okay, kind of. It depends how fast and where. But when I was learning how to drive, I could not go over 80. I could not do it.
Oh, I couldn't for a long time either. It took me...
It made me physically ill. And people were like, just go faster. I'm like, no.
It took me a year to drive fast.
Yeah. And this was up in One Tree Point, like very, very north. Nobody is on those roads. And I was still like, I am not doing that. No, you can't make me. I was going truck speed. And everybody was like...
Trucks go...
Yeah.
Trucks break the speed limit constantly, and it's terrifying.
Yeah, I know. I would always go behind trucks because I'm like, now people can't complain about me going slow because I'm stuck behind a truck. And then they'd go past 100 and I'd be like, why?
I hate being stuck behind. I am an aggressive driver. I get frustrated.
No.
I'm an Auckland driver.
Yeah.
And it shows.
I am not.
I hate New Zealand drivers.
Yeah.
Usually there's like, if you're driving like long distance, there's one lane going each way, but every now and then you get an extra lane to overtake, the overtaking lane.
Yeah.
And then if there's a truck, sometimes people are fucking assholes and they sit in between the two lanes because they're like, I don't want to overtake the truck, but I also don't want you to overtake me. No. So they just park in the middle of the two lanes. So you're stuck behind the truck because this person's like, no, fuck you.
Yeah. I like the ones that I like merging, and when people don't fucking let you merge, because it's always like merge like a zipper, right? And some people just don't fucking let you go.
No,
they're like, no, I don't want you. And you're like, I am running out of road.
The amount of times I've had to do detours and go around blocks because people won't let me into the lane I need to go into.
Yeah.
I mean, I sometimes don't because I'm like, fuck you. You should have gone in back there. Why are you waiting till the last minute, you asshole? You had time. You just want to overtake me.
No, because everybody else did the exact same thing.
No, they should have done it earlier. Yeah. Fuck you. I don't want you in front of me.
Because I have
I used to be like that a lot, and then I was like, no, if I was them, I'd want someone to let me in. Okay, I guess I'll let you in, but if you let one person in, then everyone will go in. No, I'm not having it. I will let one person in. And if someone cuts in without me letting them in, fuck you.
Yeah.
I hate you.
The amount of times
people cut you off.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. It's really dangerous. The amount of, like, I pretty much learnt all my swear words from being in the car with my grandmother, mostly. Being in the car with my grandmother, I learnt most of my swear words from that. She was very creative. She is very creative with their swear words.
My parents, when I was in the car with them, would always say, for Christ's sake, move along, John. Yeah. So I would always, that was what I said all the time. I was always like, for Christ's sake, get a move on, John.
No,
or something like that. I said it all the time.
My mushka was just like, motherfucker. Fuck you. Just me, little child, being like,
These are good words. I am enjoying growing my vocabulary.
Lots of things shoved up people's bottoms. Many things.
My mum always says, where did you get your driver's license? The back of a fucking cereal box?
Nice.
My mum doesn't swear very much. I added the fucking in there. But I need to stop swearing so much.
Oh, yeah?
I was watching back my video today and I hit pause. I'm like, I swear too much. And then the next word out of my mouth was fuck. I said it 3 times in the space of 30 seconds.
That is another thing about New Zealanders. No filter. No, we swear.
Is that not a thing everywhere else?
No.
Do people not swear as much as we do?
No, Kiwis swear a lot.
Yeah. Are people surprised by our speak? Do we swear too much?
I did notice, because I've been in a lot of international schools. Mm-hmm. No, we swear quite heavily.
Well,
we do swear quite a bit.
I swear less now than I used to.
Yeah, I know.
That's too. What would shock you all, is we swear less. When I lived in New Zealand...
When I was 13...
I didn't swear once until I was 14.
No.
Well, no, I didn't say fuck until I was 14.
No, when I was 13 and in high school...
Oh, in high school, it's every third word. Even teachers swear.
Oh, yeah. No, you just... That's how you talk to people.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm surprised, this is a different topic. I'm surprised that Felix and Chan from Stray Kids don't swear more often.
I don't know how they held it.
The restraint.
Chan moved when he was quite young.
Yeah, that's
Felix,
true. Felix? No, I don't understand.
He'll occasionally be like real quiet. I don't know how. I can't filter myself that well.
Neither. No.
Actually, no. Around my mom, because my mom doesn't like swearing. I managed to not swear.
Yeah, but I'm just surprised. Like when they were playing that Uno game, I would have been off the fucking wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know how they do it.
No. That's a different... They're Aussies.
Australians are almost worse than we are.
Yeah.
Australians are worse than we are. They say the C word a lot more.
They do.
I always feel like I can't say on the internet. It's not that bad. They say it here a lot too.
Yeah.
But,
No, that's one I don't really say.
I don't say it because everyone talks about how bad it is. But I don't understand why it's so bad. It shouldn't be.
Yeah. I don't know the history enough.
It literally was the word they used.
Yeah.
For. But, and then, what, women bad? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the history behind that one. I haven't done.
Well, it's like, I think that's what Kiara was telling me about, like, Grey's Anatomy, is that, they were allowed to say penis.
Yeah.
But they weren't allowed to say vagina.
Yeah.
Well, if you say penis, that's fine. You can say it as many times as you like. You say vagina, R-rated.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
Yeah.
You can talk about men, but as soon as you talk about women, no, bad.
No, bad.
Woman,
bad.
body, And that's the difference. And that's why I think that censoring that word above others is, like, almost, like, misogynistic in a way.
Yeah. Why are we allowed to say dick, but not... Yeah. No. Yeah. I'm still going to have a hard time saying it, but I agree. It's
because it's so ingrained in us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very different... How did we get here?
Listen.
How do we do this?
This always happens. This always happens. I keep looking at the calendar up there.
Oh, yeah, the calendar.
They look beautiful.
Yeah. We've descended. We're not going to show you it anymore, but we've descended.
Yeah, our shelf is beautiful, but you are not allowed to look at it.
No, because one person on Twitter said that we had a problem. Nobody's allowed to see it anymore.
Yeah, because it got worse.
Yeah. It did get so much worse.
I want the Bluetooth coloured light stick, but it costs £90.
I know.
Why is it so expensive? The BTS one is 50.
Yeah.
Why is the Stray Kids one 90?
I don't know. The BTS one was cheap. I got that cheap. Probably because I got it in Japan. But yeah, no. And she's Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Yeah?
£90 for the Bluetooth one.
Absolutely fucking not.
That's ridiculous.
I love you, Skiz, but absolutely fucking
But
not.
when we go to their concert, we need it.
No, it's good at the venue.
Are they cheaper?
Yeah, they're cheaper at the venue.
Okay, good. Then we shall buy them at the venue.
Yeah, because
if we're ever allowed to go to concerts ever again.
I know. I bought the BTS one at the venue of the concert, and it was a lot cheaper than buying it online.
I found hoodies, by the way, like official hoodies, but they're expensive.
Oh no.
We missed out on the ones that were cheaper.
No!
And also they're all sold out of the fleece jackets.
I see. I'm getting my IU album today.
How
you
did
don't
we
care.
get here?
You don't care about this. Okay, we should go.
We're getting this. We've gone too long without talking about Hyunjin, and now
Yeah,
it's creepy in.
Yeah.
So we have to leave to go have Hyunjin time now.
Yeah. It is our scheduled Hyunjin time. Sorry.
We have to go rewatch Code.
Yeah, sorry you had to witness that. We're going to watch an entire concert again for the third time. Thank you for coming to our TikTok.
We got really angry and then really off topic, which we predicted.
Yeah, I almost started crying like 3 times, and now I'm here, and the only thought in my head is Hyunjin. So, welcome to our podcast. None of it makes any sense. To end it all, there is a link in the description to a bunch of petitions, donations, emails sent to MPs, etc., etc. I've just stolen that from you. You stole my intro, so it's fair.
Kat came up with the intro and I stole it. It started here and then I stole it from my channel, and Kat has no credit for it.
People keep saying Thomas Sanders did it, which I understand he most definitely did it first. But I just did it because it rhymed. And now and then you stole it, and now everybody's angry at you, which I'm glad people
haven't mentioned Thomas Sanders for a while in my comments.
But no, I was the one who said it first in our sphere.
Yeah.
And then you just stole it from me.
This is correct. Don't tell anyone.
Tell everybody.
Don't tell anyone.
Tell everybody.
We can't let anyone. I also steal your jokes all the time.
All the fucking time! I say stuff.
And then it goes into my video
And
because
then I
it's
watch
priceless.
it. And then I watch it back and I'm like, wait.
Kat says stuff and I'm like, that's good. I'm using it, and then I'll write it down and I'm like, yes, this is quality content.
Because she writes her notes while sitting next to me and she shows me the posts, and then I say shit, and then I watch the video and I was like, wait, hold up.
Kat gets no credit.
No credit.
You get paid though, so it's okay.
I do. I like the one time when you kept my voice in and half the comments were like, haha, vegan cat.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, that was like the most watched part of my video. The spike in my video is when you talked.
I've decided that I have a fan base.
You do?
My vegan cat cult. That's what I'm calling you all now. My vegan cat cult. But yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Description down below. Important things. Thank you for coming.
If you've made it this far, we love you.
Thank you.
I don't know how you watch it all the way through.
Just thank you. Goodbye.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye. A massive thank you to our wonderful, wonderful patrons.
Thank you to Is Theo, Valerie, Artemis, Abby, Gio, Hadley, Antonia, Trina, Jeff, Neil, Wolf, Jordan, Phoebe, Mo, Lollipop, Rahel, Alice, Thomas, Amy, Courtney, Elizabeth, Lilith, Chantel, Cody, Andrea, Camilla, Steve, Sarah, Miss, and Binks.
We love you so much. Thank you endlessly.
Thank you.